I am Seth Morgan. I'm running for Auditor State. Just a very brief background on me. I served for 7 years as a city council member in Huber Heights, Ohio. Huber Heights, Ohio is a northern suburb of Dayton. It's where my wife and 3 children live with me. And great time there. Cut taxes, led the charge against some of the union influence there, and really got myself in a lot of good trouble. They tried to throw me off council at least once. I told the lady sitting up here in the front that frankly, nothing that I have survived politically ever compares to what happened in Huber Heights, because when your wife was being followed around town to intimidate you, it doesn't get much more personal than that. But based on that experience, I ran for the state legislature, where I serve today as a state rep from the 36th House District, and I serve as the policy chairman of our caucus policy committee for the Republican cause. And let me just speak to you very quickly about that, and I'll talk to you about the race for Auditor State. Ohio is in deep trouble, and whether John Kasich's elected governor or Ted Strickland's elected governor, whether I'm elected Auditor State or not, Ohio's in deep trouble. And we've got some really tough decisions that need to be made, and our caucus has tried very hard to reform government, to get it back in line, doing things like House Bill 210, which would cut our pay until the economy recovered, novel concept, or House Bill 430, which would align the budget, the salaries of departments with the Ohio economy, or House Bill 25, which would reorganize government altogether, saving several $1 billion. And those bills are going nowhere. They're sitting idly by because the Democrats are in charge, they have a liberal agenda, and they really don't care that they're facing an $8 to $10 billion budget deficit in the next biennial budget. Folks, this is major. It's dramatic. We're already the 47th highest taxing state in the nation, according to the Tax Foundation. And I guarantee you, as Strickland and the Democrats are elected back to the House of Representatives, we're going to see tax increases just as we already saw in this budget. So I beg you to get behind people like Marlene Yaniewski and Leanne Baker, send those folks back to Columbus or back to Columbus, and let's take this House back. We're 4 seats from doing it. It's just as important as any race I'm running for, because it really is about the future of Ohio, so I beg you to do that. I'm running for Auditor State because, as someone who understands state and local government, having served in that capacity, I have a profession that also has served in that capacity. I am a certified public accountant. I am a CPA running for Auditor State. And let me tell you, as a CPA, I think it's very important that we maintain the CPA. Mary Taylor has changed the Auditor State's office. She's changed the definition of the Auditor State's office for the better. You wouldn't hire a sanitary engineer to operate on your body. And frankly, I don't think we should hire people to understand the work of the auditor's office to be the Auditor State. The Auditor State's going to understand what a risk assessment means. None of this very exciting stuff, but let me bore you for a minute. They're going to understand risk assessment. They're going to understand how to run an efficient office and audit. They're going to understand what objectivity and independence means. Frankly, my opponent in this primary does not. And I can talk about that in the Q&A time if you'd like. Let me talk briefly about the campaign, because we are just a few days from Election Day. I jumped into this race as a CPA, hoping to carry the mantle of Mary Taylor forward. And a few days later, David Yost, who is running for Attorney General, who has a great resume that supports running for Attorney General, was talked out of running against Mike DeWine for Attorney General and into running against me by Kevin DeWine, chairman of the Ohio Republican Party. Now, for most people, that would shut people down. That would get them to back out of the race. I had not filed yet. People kept coming to me from Northeast Ohio saying, hey, are you exiting the race? And the answer was no. And the answer was no, because the first question I asked when I got out of bed is not, where does the party chairman stand? But let me tell you something that's so powerful about the movement each of you are a part of. The Ohio Republican Party, or the Republican Party, let's not put labels on where, is right for folks just like you. And we have appealed directly to the grassroots of both the party and the Tea Party, and anybody else who will listen. And I'm proud to tell you that I'm endorsed by the Cuyahoga County Republican Party, that I'm endorsed by Summit and Lake Counties, that I'm endorsed by Greene and Montgomery and Miami. So we are winning both the establishment vote and the old Tea Party vote, and I'm grateful for that. I beg you to go to SethMorgan.org. I'm not even paying attention to him. And I beg you to sign up. Thank you. I beg you to sign up on our website, make phone calls, go to the polls. We need your support. We're going to pull this through May 4th with your help. Thank you. I have one in the front.
Ask the auditor, what power or authority do you have to influence the balancing of our budget in Ohio and circumventing the deficit that we're facing?
I'll keep all my answers as short as I can. The biggest influence I have is the use of the bully pulpit. Many of you might remember, if you follow the government and Columbus. Mary Taylor, I think, did this very effectively. When Governor Strickland came out with his budget that was propped up on one-time money that was ultimately passed, she was very quick to hold a press conference and say, look, this budget is structurally unbalanced, here's where, and it needs to be fixed. And the press, some of them said great job, some of them criticized her for it. Again, I think that's part of the reason. I mean, I think she as a CPA had a special understanding of how to do that. She understands the difference between balance sheet and income statement. She understands when a liability is unfunded and maybe isn't officially on the balance sheet. So the biggest thing I can do, besides just offering suggestions, I mean, this is one of the other little secrets. Many people don't know that Mary Taylor's staff was helping the House minority, my caucus, in the analysis of the budget. So there's a large role to play because the Auditor of State is one of the few statewide office holders across the state, and the use of that bully pulpit is very important. But the Auditor of State is not a legislative body, and it is not the governor, and its job, if it really is to be your CPA, is to be the people's final eyes and ears, to ensure that the expenditures, and there's not fraud and waste, and certainly in Cuyahoga County we know a little something about fraud and waste, but frankly, all throughout Ohio's government and governments, we know a little something about fraud and waste. So it's to ensure there's not fraud and waste, but it's also to issue those financial audited statements, just like a CPA firm would do, that explain the financial health of that entity itself. Who else? Yes, sir.
Since you seem very aware of what the state's looking at for budget deficit, because you were just down there last week, it seems like with all new federal legislation for health that's been passed in the state agriculture, high-risk pool, Medicaid, all this, it seems like they've turned this all over to have ODI make all the decisions. That's not what should be done. Shouldn't the auditor's office be involved with the decision how to make this work financially?
Let me tell you, as long as it's Democrat Governor Strickland and Republican Mary Taylor, or Republican Seth from that, of the auditor, I mean, what will end up having to happen, and I'll make this somewhat of a promise here tonight. If ODI is tasked with this, if this bill actually starts to get implemented, God help us all, the Auditor of State, I believe, and Mary Taylor believes, has the right to order a performance audit of their own accord on a particular division of government. I will use that power judiciously, but I will certainly use it, especially in high-profile areas. Right now, she's doing one on the Lottery Commission. I'd have no problem doing one on the Department of Insurance if we didn't think we were getting the right information out. This goofy healthcare bill is going to be disastrous. I mean, that $8 to $10 billion is before we start calculating the Medicaid cost for the new healthcare plan coming in, and it's going to be disastrous across the board. And I don't think we've yet seen anything from ODI or the governor's office or the feds as to what we should expect from that. So, and what we should do is sue the federal government and stand up to it. And if we had a real governor, I think we would do that. Somebody asked me a real tough one. I have 1 minute left, and I'd like to say I'll answer any question except how I had 3 children in 4 years with 1 woman. And I know no one in Argentina. If you'll give me just license for 1 second. That is, I think, dead on. And I'll tell you that I believe, folks, people who are not, or parties, who are not principled in victory, and I think many of us would argue that the Republican Party or some of our leaders have not shown that. And what I mean by that is they've not governed the way they've campaigned. They don't show principle once they've got victory, okay? They're also not very principled in defeat. And what that means is the minute you threaten their jobs and their power, they will change course. And let me tell you, I don't care, I mean, I do care whether it's me. I think I'm going to pull this out. We have a real shot at this. The ORP's scared. Things are going well. But whether it's me or not, I was telling somebody earlier tonight, the way we will get their attention is victory. May 4th is the most important day that this Tea Party movement, that folks like you, that the grassroots have ever seen. I beg you, get out. Pick, if it's not me, pick somebody else. Prove the point. Bring it home. And so it's up to you folks.